Hello, welcome to the Boom Boom Radio Show. As you can see, as you can hear, we haven't played any music today. We're just chatting a little bit before we do anything else. I'm getting a late start, I think. Hopefully, my mic is working because I normally, maybe because I got the dark theme, normally it'll show me in green that it's going up and down, but for some reason, it's just not. But it's all plugged in and everything's good to go. But how have you guys been doing um, this week? I hope you've been doing great. Having an awesome, I mean, Halloween is pretty much around the corner anymore, right? Um, like, wow, this year is almost over. Like, well, so everyone's getting prepared for that. The holidays are right around the corner, and it's been a year. It's just like sometimes you just can't believe how many things you've accomplished within these 12 months or 10 months so far. But like when I look at back from the new year and just realizing like it seemed like it had just started, and of course no one ever knows what the future holds, but you're always hoping for the best. And I felt like I was just going into something new, getting a fresh start with someone, and hoping that we together wouldn't let a lot of things come in between that, and just find other things to occupy our mind with to keep that from happening. And so here we are 10 months later, and it's like, wow, uh, we really have just kept ourselves busy. I mean, not saying that people haven't tried to, you know, throw monkey wrenches everywhere, but for the most part, we just have like found other things to keep ourselves occupied, keep ourselves on track, and just continue to work at it. And in life, that's all you can do is work at it. Even just with this radio station, it was always a goal and dream of mine to just not just have music on it, to really have sit down and talk and just enjoy it and not think so much about it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do today. Is like I said, I want it to be we can just sit down and talk, listen to music, whatever. Because I do have a lot of other things going on. I'm working on a clothing line. I got a website, uh, trying to manage this, trying to cut designs for my clothing line, just constantly researching and trying to stay on top of things. And it's a lot to manage, but I just thank God that I'm not doing it all by myself. And even if it seems like it sometimes, I still can talk to someone else and brainstorm about it, and just not give other people credit that don't have anything to do with it. Like sometimes people will come along when you pretty much got it all figured out and then want to help when it's like nothing to do. Like, yeah, it's nothing to do. It's just like so there's no reason for me to look at it any other way. If I've already started my team and they all got parts, you part from them and give it to you or nothing. It's just and vice versa. It will be the same way if I went into someone else's, setting and felt like I can change what they was doing. Or I'm sure I'm not the only person. Sometimes, yeah, people want to get involved in things, but they just like come too late, or or just try to come and change your mind. Now, I'm not a spring chicken, so a lot of stuff, like I don't know if you've ever been in school or anyone in your household that ever told you you'll never amount to nothing. And then if they try to come back around when you constantly working on a mountain to something, and you have, what can you say? I mean, like, so, and it's nothing for you to think about daily or nightly or anything. It's just they can't be mad if you don't really want to be bothered with it. So, but anyway, and even with my music, it's a lot of hard work. People, I don't know, I don't think anything I'm doing is fairly easy. It's a lot of thought you have to put into whatever you're doing. It's still a lot of thought process, and it's for everybody. Anybody that's trying to start something, or whether they created a YouTube channel, create any kind of channel, it's a lot of thought you have to put into whatever you're doing. And sometimes it ain't, it's not, won't say it's stressful, but sometimes it's a lot of thought. And sometimes things might seem simple, but it still is a lot of thought process behind whatever you're doing. Um, and that's what I can pride myself into, knowing that it's not something, it's not a copy and paste thing, it's thoughts. It's a thought process. Whether you might be copying it, something you were thinking out of your head and pasting it, but it's just not like I seen somebody else say this and then I'm gonna do it. And I understand that when we start talking about AI and stuff, that's a lot more like a copy and paste model type of thing. But we all use it in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it's like to correct our spelling or whatever we do. We do it, but for the most part, most people still try to have some kind of hand in whatever they're creating, and not just give it all to something else or someone else. So, because there's nothing worse in the world, I feel like, than to uh, create something and you can't get the credit for it. I feel like, you know, which I get that. But sometimes people have made so many poor choices and bad decisions to where that's all they can do is look at somebody else get the credit for something, because it was just like something they never did go back and try to fix, right? So they like, here we are however many years later, and all you can see is whatever you felt like you created going on with other people, because you just always felt like you had more time to, or do you feel like you can easily create something else? And so, anyway, that was my thing. I don't know. So, but like I said, I wanted this to be just a sit down and talk radio station too, and not just always music, and to break up some of that just long things of music. And I'm constantly creating. I do use AI for that, and it's also me putting stuff in it as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know too much if I'm trying to make music. I mean, money off all of my music, but I am trying to find sponsors and stuff like that. That's what, uh, because I don't think the most people can make money off of music anyway, as far as just taking credit for it. Like if you work at a radio station, you get a paycheck or whatever you get, but just constantly taking credit for somebody else's work, I don't think so. So I don't think too much about that. I think just being consistent at what I'm doing, and constantly knowing that there's still a lot of more possibilities I can do. Use like sponsors, whatever you can find, and get to make a income from whatever you're doing. And it's just all about researching and reaching out and talking to people. And so, which has led me to the path I'm on now. And I'm just churning it, whatever I need to do, talking to people, doing what I need to do for myself. And knowing I got people who love me, that's backing me, and that's the most important part. Uh, so yeah, it's a full plate. It really is. And I won't tell anybody it's easy to do this stuff all day, every day. And but it's been a long dream. Like with this, I was at Goodwill yesterday, and I was like, found this laminator book binder thing, and because that's another dream of mine as well, is just to be able to do like magazines or some coloring books for my clothing line. Just the magazine is just for all around, like just for everything I'm doing all at once. How what magazines are about. They got spreads of people and business people, artists, and all these different people who make up the magazine. And basically, the fashion world, the beauty world, everybody world, but it's just all these things that go into it. So, and you can create it in another system and just all print it all out, right? And then just having a binder that you can bind it together is really cool. And I feel like that's just how simple it is. I mean, but you don't know how simple something is until you actually start doing it. And because most of the times you don't, just a regular person or anyone or even an artist, just don't understand a lot of times the process of things and how easy it can be if you have the right materials. So, and then because we go to stores and we look at books, not saying you can do all books. You do want some books to, be from somewhere else and that you really took time in to create. But we'll go to the stores and look at the magazines, and it never really, for me at least, you never really think of how easy it is for you to be able to do something like this if you had the right materials. Because we do, when we look at stuff in stores, we do think in volume. It's like even when we start channels or start anything, when we do our niche, they always tell you like sometimes it's gonna be kind of hard to think about really just shooting to the top because you're like in a pool of so many people trying to do these things, which is not impossible. It's just if you got the right materials. And that's not content, it's just knowing how to advertise yourself to the point where people do pay attention. People want to pay attention. People want to see what you do. I mean, because like I said, when we look at big brands, we always forget that they started off as little brands and they just kept at it and kept, you know. I don't know if so many people really, how when you're looking on the internet for whatever, when they tell you to search your niche or whatever it is, and to give you an idea of what you're up against and stuff. I don't know if so many people search that out. I don't really know because it's kind of hard to understand. To me, it is. It's just like, so I don't think it's like a thing you can study. It's just if you got the right materials and I don't quite, excuse me, I drank a lot of water, but if you can hear my stomach grumbling. Um, like even with advertising, I don't know like if you do a lot of studying on that or if you just start whatever you believe in and you figure out from your first ever video or publication on any social media. If you do like a week's worth of it and then you come back and see what video out of that week went good, and then I think that's when your research begins. Because just sometimes to me, just going like on the internet trying to research, compare yourself to someone else when your personality is totally different from someone else's. So, and the way you present yourself is so totally different from someone else's some way of presenting themselves. People get frustrated with that because they just don't know. Like if they'll look at someone and be like, anything they say or do, people is just so interested. I mean, like I can bear just like jump off a bridge and people still will be looking at me like, what was the problem? you know, it's just I don't know. So I don't think it's because of that. I think some people just have that like go getter mentality, and it's just like it's not so much as trying to put on airs or something like that's what the Jordans are trying to put on airs or anything to pretend you're something you're not. But I mean, it is just I am who I am, and I don't know anyone else to be. So um, that's my thought process of it. So. And that's why I don't really wear Jordan. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, that's my personality. But so yeah, everybody has a personality, and it's up to you to understand your personality, and not so much as understand the market. I guess it's my thought process because once you understand yourself, And then that's the only thing you need to pitch is yourself. Like catch this. Yeah, I mean, it's to me, in my opinion. So that's pretty much what I didn't want to do music today. Because like I said, sometimes I wanted to just be talking and not so much just which I still need to. I can't wrap my head around how to put the just music on. I mean, I know how to, which I still need to do that. The ones I've created already. Now I couldn't find an easier way. Before I had this app where I could just separate it, but I think another one like Dolby. But I didn't do this on Dolby. You can just, I think, separate the it into an MP3. So we shall figure this out and then put it on the radio. Because I still got three or four ones I have created. That's like a good chunk of time on a Sunday that I can put it on there and uh, break up some of that just music. And so, yeah, like I said, it is a process. It's a lot of stuff to get done. And it's just like narrowing it down on how to do it. And when I'm in the mood to do it, or I'm at the spot, like on Sunday when and then something don't go right, where it's just that seamless thing where you can just do it, then it kind of like takes you a week or two to really go back into it, in my opinion, because you're, like I said, it is a full plate. So you try to deal with things as they come most of the times, but when it's not as easy as it sounds, then you got to kind of figure out what the next step is. So anyway, that is it with that. And like I said, I'm working on this brand, just trying to get things uh, done in that way. Um, and it takes a while to build a brand. I mean, most brands probably most likely started off with T-shirts and some form of like backpacks or some type of things, or hats, in my opinion. Which I do have these things, but I was just moving into another spot, so everything just I couldn't like carry everything on my back. So I got the most important things that I had with me already, which is a printer and my cutter and a bunch of materials to use and some t-shirts and a few backpacks and a couple of hats. So that's just what I started off with. And I wanted to get pretty good at cutting and weeding and all that first before I really start to dive into a whole lot of other stuff as far as designing, because when I first started weeding, I'm sure it was probably the same for everybody. It's a process, and it's a no. I couldn't figure out which was the right thing to weed and what. So yeah. So learning that and getting that down pat, and it's still a little bit learning curve. I gotta go when you're trying to make weed out small letters. What's an easier process? But maybe there isn't any. So, and so it's just taking your time getting that done and and enjoying the process is pretty much all it is. And because it is something you are creating, just like with this radio station, it's just enjoying the process. Whether I put one or two songs on here a week, I still just do it, and I don't really think hard about it. I mean, I don't like think it's a chore or anything. It's just when I feel like the time is right and I feel like it's something I need to say and I want to say it, then that's when I go create a song for it. People argue about that with the AI because I do use AI. I mean, like I didn't always use AI to make my songs, uh, but I do now. And people will argue about if it's really your song, if AI helps you create it. Now, I think when you're in a partnership with somebody that way, like that's something like totally different. Because I had someone trying to tell me like we're in a partnership, but it's a blank partnership because that's just like a 15-minute thing, and it's basically a one and done type of thing. But like with my music and stuff and anything else, you like in a partnership because especially if whatever platform you use saying that you can use these things to for commercial use and make an income off of it, you can. It's not going to help you do all that. I mean, it will if you go to, like, I guess, Chat GBT and ask it how to do all that. But uh, you can still, like, it still is, you are partner with someone when it's a situation like that. And, you know, you can make an income out of it, just like with my music. I can make an income out of it. It is not like me just asking it to do everything for me. I do prompt it to say something. I don't roll the dice, but I do. I have created a platform, created something, rolling some dice. Okay, so, like, seven is not just a song. Okay, but anyway, I'm just joking. No, I'm not. But anyway, but that is my thought process. So again, I want this to be where you could just sit down and talk whatever you want. I mean, whatever you feel. If you have a question and neither one of us know the answer, then we can just talk about it and try to figure it out. So I'm feeling good because I have did my podcast today. I did the one because I do on Sundays. I also do the one for my clothing line, just show them, talking about, my progress throughout the week and what I've done, what I'm doing, what I found, what I'm planning on doing with it, and going from there. It's not like a long thing. It is like, but however I'm feeling. But I'm always glad when I've got it done. Just like when this one, since I started, and it is, like I said, it has always been something I wanted to do, to kind of like break up that just music on the radio, and just knowing people paying attention to it. It's just what you know, it's amazing. So I think I'm not gonna stay on here too long. I already did my laundry and all these things I do on Sundays. I made me some spaghetti and stuff, and I fried a couple chicken wings last night. I did eat a little bit too late because I felt full. And I was just like, it took like a couple of hours. Ugh, so I rolled around like, oh Lord. But anyway, so I don't have to think about cooking. I already got that already squared away. But I do just want to relax the rest of the day. Probably look for some paper that I already know I don't have. So yeah, I was supposed to get copy paper the other day, but I remembered I was gonna make stickers instead. So, but anyway, I think I'm just gonna do a little research on what it takes, what kind of paper you should use to make magazines. Well, I know for the cover, you can use some like heavy duty cardstock or a chipboard or something. And that's what the laminator is for as well. You print your picture out. You can print it out on sticker paper, right, and put it on top of the chipboard and then laminate it, and that's your two covers. I think the trickiest part about making any kind of books or magazines or whatever is making sure you got your spine right. I think uh, now I'm going all into, because it's something I want to do, and I feel like it just goes with, it would help me get the word out even more and broadcast. Sometimes pictures are better. Sometimes you can talk to somebody all day long, but sometimes a picture is a better. Like if you get instructions on how to put something together, you can read it and you'll keep reading it over and over. But sometimes that picture, that diagram, a diaphragm, whatever, will show you, and it just makes everything so much easier. So that's my thought process, and maybe that's just been because it's always what I've lived my life by. Sometimes people just be talking, but a picture, if I look back at a picture, whether it's from the 70s or today, it will help me understand uh, a lot of stuff. So and that's pretty much what I understand a lot. But if I go back to the 70s and look at it, remember it from today, I remember people might have want to have a lot of food, but they didn't. Okay, so we made spaghetti. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. And do like and subscribe. I know I need to start getting more. I do these on the uh, channel, but I do need to start doing more. I don't really like do much other than what this on the YouTube channel, but I need to find something else to do and to put on the channel. But right now, I've just been so preoccupied with trying to get this stuff going. And I do believe it gets easier when you start in anything. It gets easier because once you get that outline all set up, you're not trying to put everything together anymore. You just got your days of whatever way. Like on Fridays are the days on my website that I want to add new stuff to it. So that way all week I ain't trying to go, figure all that out. So, and then if I just stay in the realms of what I've already created, and then I don't have to think so hard about adding a lot of different categories into, you get all those situated. And then if you want to add a new category, then so that's my mindset. So I do want to start finding something else to do, to put on there. I mean, like other things I can do that has something to do with radio related things. So we shall figure that out. But anyway, I thank you so much. Do like and subscribe because it is a channel and I'm still doing stuff on it because of these. I've been like trying to do these live streams on it and just constantly keeping my radio station going too. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace. It never ends. What is? Oh, keep hitting the wrong button.